There is a magical power in the word spoken. A word is not merely sound, it is a force, a vibration, a seed planted into the fertile soil of the invisible. When one speaks with unwavering faith, when the voice is lifted in divine confidence and not in fear or doubt, then the universe, like a well-trained servant, moves swiftly to obey. This is the secret of the wealth game. It is not about struggle. It is not about striving. It is not about scrambling up some imaginary ladder while pushing others down. No, the true wealth game is played not with the hands, but with the word. It begins not with action, but with utterance. I spoke it, then wealth came. That is not a slogan, it is a spiritual law. In the silence, the idea is born. In the stillness, the picture forms. But it is through the spoken word that the unseen takes form and walks into the visible. Every great success began as a word of power, not a word of doubt, not a wish whispered in weakness, but a decree spoken with full authority. I have wealth, I live in abundance. All that is mine by divine right is now appearing. There is no poverty in divine mind. There is only infinite supply forever flowing. Yet many stand outside this river, afraid to dip their cup in, or worse, believing they are unworthy to receive. The wealth game is not a contest of accumulation. It is a demonstration of alignment. One must align their words with truth, their thoughts with faith, and their emotions with joy. Then wealth in all its forms, money, ideas, love, opportunity, rushes in. The one who understands this knows that every idle word is a seed. A complaint plants a weed, a worry births delay. But a word spoken in faith, the kind of bold, knowing word that does not beg but declares, creates instant movement in the unseen realms. It stirs the ethers. It calls supply from the four corners of the earth. Wealth is not something to chase. It is something to claim. And how does one claim it? With the word. You speak it before you see it. You declare it before you hold it. That is the law. Let the weak say, I am strong. Let the barren sing. The world says, I'll believe it when I see it. Spirit says, you'll see it when you believe it, and speak it. The voice is the vessel. The word is the wand. Speak lack and you summon shadows. Speak wealth and you call forth light. The spoken word impregnates the moment with creative fire. And when the word is spoken with love, with gratitude, with knowing, then it cannot return void. It must fulfill its assignment. It must manifest. You are not begging the universe. You are not trying to force your way into wealth. You are aligning with it. And the key is in your mouth. Speak as one who already holds the treasure. Speak as one who knows that the invisible always precedes the visible. Speak as one who understands the rules of the wealth game and plays it with divine confidence. So say it, not in fear, not in hope, but in certainty. I spoke it. Then wealth came. The spoken word creates reality. This is not metaphor, not a poetic expression, but a spiritual law as unchanging and precise as gravity. Every word that leaves your lips sets something into motion. Words are not just vibrations in the air, they are commands issued into the ethers. They go forth and shape substance. They call forth form from the formless. Whether you speak from belief or fear, faith or doubt, your word will be fulfilled. For the universe does not judge, it responds. There are two kinds of people in this world, those who speak with creative authority, and those who speak reactively, repeating what they see rather than declaring what they desire. The first group understands the game. They know that everything begins with the word. They plant seeds of abundance, health, joy, and success with their declarations. The second group, unaware of the power they hold, sows seeds of lack, confusion, and delay with every complaint, every worry spoken aloud. In the beginning was the word. That was not idle poetry. It was truth. The world, the stars, the oceans, even the rhythm of time, it all began with the word. Creation itself was launched by sound. Divine sound, commanded sound. The word went forth, and there was light. The same power rests within you. When you speak, you do not merely communicate, you create. You frame your world with your voice. And every time you say, I am, you invoke the name of the divine and attach it to whatever follows. When a person says, I am poor, the universe does not hesitate. It begins to gather evidence, arrange circumstances, and align experiences to prove those words true. When a person says, "I never win," then the unseen forces say, "So it shall be." The spoken word is a decree. Whether casual or serious, conscious or careless, the universe treats all words as law. It does not discern intention, it obeys vibration, it responds to certainty. You may think you're only joking when you say, "I'm always broke." But your word has already gone forth, collecting confirmation like a magnet attracts metal. There is nothing neutral about your speech. Every word either opens doors or closes them. Every sentence either builds or destroys. Your words are tools or weapons, used to construct a palace or to tear down a temple. When you begin to speak only that which you desire, only that which aligns with abundance, only that which reflects your highest good, you begin to shift reality. It starts invisibly, in realms not yet seen, but it always surfaces in the visible world. That is law. That is truth. People wonder why their lives do not change, yet every day they utter phrases soaked in doubt. "I can't afford it. That's impossible. Nothing ever works for me." These are not innocent statements. They are creative instructions. The universe hears them and responds with precision. You are not punished for your words, you are fulfilled by them. The word is a seed, and your life is the harvest. If you do not like the fruit you are eating, change the seed you are planting. Change your words. This is why silence can be powerful, for in silence, at least, you are not cursing your own field. But silence alone is not enough. One must speak with intention. One must begin to utter declarations of truth, abundance, love, success. Not as hopes but as facts, not as dreams, but as declarations. You do not say, "I will be wealthy someday." You say, "Wealth is mine now." You do not say, "Maybe things will turn around." You say, "All things are working together for my good now." People are often tempted to speak according to what they see. But the creative person, the one who understands the laws of spirit, speaks according to what they choose to create. They do not look at the bills and say, "I am broke." They look at the bills and say, "Divine supply meets every demand." They do not wake up tired and say, "I have no energy." They say, "I am renewed, refreshed, and restored." The word does not describe, it creates. Speak not what is but what shall be. Speak not what you fear, but what you know is divinely yours. This is not denial. This is divine alignment. You are not pretending the facts are not present. You are choosing to declare a higher truth. You are choosing to speak from spiritual reality, which always overrides physical appearance. The one who continues to speak truth in the face of contradiction is the one who wins the wealth game. For sooner or later, the outer must match the inner. The visible must align with the word that has been sown in faith. You cannot speak defeat and expect victory. You cannot speak struggle and expect flow. You cannot speak scarcity and expect supply. Your words either bless or block. They either open the windows of heaven, or they keep the doors closed. The shift begins when you recognize that every phrase you utter is a blueprint. Every sentence is a decree. Every word is a wand. It does not matter how long things have looked one way. The moment the word changes, the course changes. Like a ship turning at sea, your life responds to the direction set by your voice. You may not see it immediately, but the movement has begun. The inner world has received your instruction, and the outer world is rearranging itself to comply. This is not superstition. This is spiritual science. Speak the word, and the law of cause and effect begins to move. It is not necessary to understand the mechanics. Just as you do not need to know how a seed becomes a tree to plant it, you do not need to know how the word becomes form. You only need to speak. Speak as if you already possess what you desire. Speak as if every word is an order written in fire. Speak as if the universe is your silent partner, ready to fulfill every detail of your decree. There are those who pray, but nullify their prayer with their speech. They say, "God, bless me," but then turn and say, "I'm not lucky like others." They ask for abundance, but speak lack all day long. The word is not just for ceremony. It is for daily use. It is the steering wheel of your life. And if your life is going in circles, check your language. What are you saying when no one is watching? What declarations are you making under your breath? Every moment is a chance to choose again. Every sentence is a doorway. The spoken word does not depend on education or status. It is available to all. The one who understands its power becomes a master of their reality. They need not control outer circumstances. They speak, and circumstances rearrange. They do not chase money. They speak and money appears. Not through magic but through law. Not by accident but by alignment. If you begin to monitor your words, you will begin to see your world change. It may start with small signs, a sudden idea, a new opportunity, a forgotten check in the mail. But these are just the early ripples. Stay with it. Keep speaking. Do not be swayed by temporary appearances. Do not retreat into silence when doubt arises. That is the moment to speak even louder. Speak not to others but to your own spirit. Declare what is yours. Declare it now. Faith-filled declarations align with divine supply. This is not wishful thinking, but spiritual principle. The universe is not moved by need, but by conviction. Divine supply flows not to the one who begs, but to the one who knows. And that knowing is expressed through the word, spoken boldly, clearly, without apology or hesitation. A declaration made in faith does not ask if it is possible, it assumes it is already done. It does not hope, it affirms. It does not plead. It commands with love. Faith is not emotion. It is certainty. It is the deep inner agreement with the invisible that says, "It is so," even when the outer world says otherwise. Declarations made in faith carry the weight of spiritual law. They are not casual utterances. They are energetic blueprints. They go into the ethers and begin to pull from the infinite storehouse of supply everything needed for fulfillment. Supply is already present. There is no shortage in divine mind. There is no lack in spirit. Everything you could ever need, want, or imagine is already finished in the invisible. It exists in potential, waiting for the command to bring it forth. The command is not action. The command is not stress. The command is the faith-filled word. When you speak from belief, real belief, you activate the unseen forces. They begin to assemble, to orchestrate, to align people, places, and circumstances around your word. Many speak, but few declare. To declare is to speak with conviction, without compromise, without contradiction. It is not just saying words, it is knowing them to be true as you speak them. It is allowing no doubt to weaken their power. To declare in faith is to stand as a co-creator with divine intelligence. It is to speak as one who is backed by all the powers of the universe. It is not arrogance. It is alignment. You are not the source, but you are the vessel. You are the voice through which the source flows. You cannot align with divine supply through worry. You cannot align through desperation. You align through trust, through clarity, through speech that reflects spiritual truth. To say, "I always have more than enough," when your bank account says otherwise, is not delusion, it is dominion. It is claiming your inheritance as a spiritual being, regardless of temporary appearances. It is knowing that the outer must bow to the inner. That is the law. Faith does not mean ignoring circumstances. It means speaking a higher truth in spite of them. It means giving the final word to spirit, not fear. It means choosing to declare what is true in divine mind, even if it hasn't yet shown up in your timeline. Faith sees the end from the beginning. Faith knows that what is spoken with authority and belief must take form. It has no choice. It cannot remain unmanifest. The law will not allow it. Declarations without faith are like seeds thrown on concrete. They cannot root, they cannot grow, they cannot bear fruit. But a faith-filled declaration lands in fertile ground. It is watered by certainty. It is nurtured by repetition. It is warmed by gratitude. And soon it begins to push through the soil of time and space, breaking into visibility. It may begin subtly, a phone call, an opportunity, a sudden shift in mood, but it will always result in manifestation. Faith is not loud, but it is unshakable. It does not need to shout to be heard by the universe. It only needs to be sure. A whispered word spoken in true faith carries more power than 1,000 affirmations mumbled in doubt. It is the feeling behind the word that activates the supply. Not anxious need, but calm certainty. Not fear of lack, but joy in abundance. You can speak all day long, but if your heart is filled with contradiction, your words will be tangled. You must bring your feelings, thoughts, and speech into harmony. You cannot say, "I am wealthy," then secretly worry about rent. The two cancel each other. But when your speech and your inner atmosphere agree, then divine supply rushes in. That is alignment. That is the opening of the floodgates. Your declarations must be clear. Vague words produce vague results. You must be specific. You must speak as one who knows what they want and knows it is theirs by divine right. Do not say, "I hope money comes." Say, "Money flows to me now in perfect ways." Do not say, "I wish I could be successful." Say, "I am success in action. I am divinely guided and richly supported." Your words must match the vibration of your desire. Your declarations must be clothed in the certainty of their own fulfillment. Faith does not require evidence. It is the evidence. It does not need proof. It is the proof. When you declare in faith, you are saying to the universe, "I trust you. I believe in your laws. I know who I am and what I'm here to receive." That trust becomes the magnet. It draws, it attracts, it commands. Divine supply is always ready, always waiting. But it cannot flow where there is doubt, confusion, or double-mindedness. The path must be clear. The channel must be open. Every day is a chance to practice. Every conversation is a test. Will you speak in fear, or will you declare in faith? Will you talk about problems, or will you speak solutions? Will you repeat the news, or will you declare the truth? Your words are your wand. Your faith is your fire. Together, they summon the invisible to dance into form. You may not feel powerful when you start. Your words may feel weak. But persist, keep speaking. Keep declaring. Faith grows with use. Every declaration waters the roots. Every bold word strengthens the tree. You are training your mind, your body, your vibration to believe. And once belief is locked in, divine supply can no longer be delayed. It comes, not through force, not through manipulation, but through effortless alignment. Many have mistaken faith for passivity. But true faith is active. It speaks, it commands. It stands its ground. It does not negotiate with lack. It does not make deals with doubt. It states the truth and lets the law fulfill it. That is the power of a faith-filled declaration. It does not ask if, it declares what is. The energy behind your words is the real currency. What you feel as you speak determines the outcome. A single declaration infused with joy, gratitude, and certainty can shift more in a day than months of anxious effort. The universe is not measuring your effort, it is responding to your vibration. Speak the truth as if it already exists. Speak it with joy. Speak it with love. Speak it with full spiritual authority. There is a rhythm to supply. It is not random. It flows where it is welcomed. It enters through the doorway of belief. The spoken word, when aligned with unwavering faith, opens that door wide. It signals the universe that you are ready. Not hoping, not wishing, but expecting. That expectation becomes a beacon. Supply responds, opportunities unfold. People appear, solutions reveal themselves. It is not chance. It is the law in motion, set into action by your words. Wealth is claimed, not chased. This truth overturns much of what the world teaches about prosperity. From an early age, people are trained to run, to pursue, to strive, to hustle after things they believe are outside of them. The world says, work harder, push more, compete, sacrifice. But in spiritual law, the energy of pursuit implies separation. To chase something is to admit it is not already yours. To chase wealth is to declare by vibration that you do not have it, and in doing so, you reinforce its absence. Claiming is a different energy. It is calm, grounded, and rooted in knowing. It is not about force. It is about recognition. The one who claims wealth understands that all supply already exists in the invisible realm, and their role is not to go get it, but to receive it, to draw it, to become an energetic match for it. This does not mean idleness. It means alignment. It means inner preparation. It means tuning the self to the frequency of abundance, so that wealth naturally responds. The one who claims wealth does not ask if it is possible. They know it is finished in spirit. They do not compete with others. They know that divine supply is unlimited and personal. Chasing wealth is rooted in fear. It says, if I do not get this now, I never will. It creates tension, scarcity, urgency. That energy repels supply. The universe does not respond to desperation. It responds to certainty. The one who chases sees wealth as elusive, limited, separate. The one who claims sees wealth as their divine inheritance. It is not a matter of deserving. It is a matter of recognition. A spiritual being does not earn wealth in the way the world teaches. They claim it by law. The claim is made not through effort, but through the word. The feeling, the image. You speak as one who already has. You feel as one who is already blessed. You imagine as one who has already received. These inner movements are the real actions in the wealth game. Outer actions may follow, but they are guided by inspiration, not fear. They are joyful, not burdensome. The one who has claimed their good moves through the world differently. They do not knock on every door. They know which one is already open. They do not beg for attention. They radiate such conviction that opportunities come to them. To claim wealth is to step into authority. It is to accept your position as a co-creator with divine mind. It is to stop asking permission. It is to stop waiting for signs. The only sign needed is the inner knowing that what is yours cannot be taken, delayed, or denied. Claiming wealth is not arrogance. It is obedience to spiritual truth. The law says, ask, believing you have received, and it shall be yours. That is not metaphor. That is instruction. You ask not with hope, but with possession in mind. You declare, this is mine now, and let the law arrange the rest. The one who chases often feels burned out. They work without results. They try every strategy, every program, every method, yet still feel far from what they want. This is because they are operating from a vibration of lack. No amount of outer movement can override inner disconnection. Until the individual shifts from chasing to claiming, they remain stuck in cycles of effort without fulfillment. But when the shift happens, when the person realizes that all they desire is already theirs in the invisible, the entire game changes. They stop chasing shadows and start walking in substance. Claiming does not mean avoiding responsibility. It means understanding that true wealth is a reflection of your consciousness. When you elevate your self-concept, your world adjusts to match. You do not need to force the outer when the inner is aligned. You simply claim your wealth by speaking it, feeling it, expecting it, embodying it. This is not fantasy. It is spiritual precision. The law cannot be fooled, but it always responds. When a person truly claims their wealth, they begin to see evidence of it, even before the money comes. They notice the shift in how people respond to them. They begin to attract opportunities without trying. They feel lighter, freer, more powerful. The external world has not yet fully caught up, but the vibration has changed. The pattern is shifting. The seed is breaking the surface. This is the evidence of true claiming, when you no longer seek confirmation from outside, but walk in your truth until the outside reflects what you already know inside. The energy of claiming is peaceful. It does not rush. It does not panic. It holds space. It trusts the unfolding. To claim wealth is to say, it is already done, not in the future, not after certain things fall into place. Now, in the invisible now, the one who claims stops negotiating with their fears. They stop shrinking to fit other people's expectations. They stop giving their power to circumstances. They take the throne within their own consciousness and speak from it. There is a vibration to wealth, and those who claim it live in that vibration before anything changes. They adjust their words. They refine their self-talk. They move as if they are already supported, and in doing so, they become magnetic. Wealth comes not as a reward for chasing, but as a match to claiming. It appears as if by magic, but it is not magic. It is law. To chase is to delay. To claim is to receive. This principle is subtle but powerful. When you stop running towards something, you realize it has always been at your feet. It was not far away. It was waiting for recognition. It was waiting for your yes. Not a hesitant yes, but a knowing yes. The moment you claim wealth as your divine right, You begin to walk a new path. Not a path of begging or bargaining, but a path of mastery. The world may not understand this. It is trained to hustle, to compete, to grind. But you are not bound by the world's way. You are governed by spiritual law. You do not need to prove your worth. You do not need to justify your receiving. You need only to claim what is already yours in consciousness, and let the law do the rest. When you claim wealth, you stop trying to impress, convince, or outperform. You begin to listen more. You receive guidance. You move with purpose, not pressure. Your actions become more effective because they are backed by conviction. You speak from authority. You choose from abundance. You trust the timing because you know the outcome is already secured. The outer world will test this knowing. It will offer illusions of lack. It will tempt you to chase again. But you must stand firm. The moment you drop into chasing, you delay what is already yours. The claim must remain active. It must be affirmed daily, not through force, but through joy, through gratitude, through calm expectation. Wealth is not out there, running from you. It is here, waiting to be received, waiting to be claimed, waiting for the one who knows who they are. Words spoken in gratitude manifest abundance. Gratitude is not merely a polite gesture or a social nicety, it is a spiritual force. It is one of the highest vibrations available to human consciousness, and when infused into speech, it activates the law of increase. Words of gratitude are not passive acknowledgments, they are powerful declarations that command the universe to continue supplying. Every time a word is spoken with genuine thankfulness, it sends a signal, more of this, please. Gratitude does not wait for manifestation to appear. It begins before the blessing arrives. It speaks as if the good is already here. It thanks in advance, because it understands that the spiritual is always ahead of the physical. The person who speaks words of gratitude regardless of appearances is the one who holds the master key to abundance. They do not say, "I'll be thankful when the money comes." They say, "I am thankful now, because I know it is already on its way." Their gratitude is not conditional, it is creative. It is not based on facts, it is based on truth. The facts may show an empty account. The truth says divine supply is unlimited and always flowing. The one who speaks in gratitude stands in that truth, and uses their words to shape reality. They bless what they have, and in doing so, multiply it. They bless what has not yet arrived, and in doing so, draw it near. Gratitude closes the gap between desire and fulfillment. It bridges the space between the invisible and the visible. When a person says, "Thank you," with real feeling, they align their spirit with abundance. They shift their focus from what's missing to what's present. And in that shift, the atmosphere changes. Their words become magnets. Their speech becomes a call that the universe cannot ignore. Gratitude is the opposite of complaint. Complaint repels. Gratitude attracts. Complaint focuses on what is wrong and so expands it. Gratitude focuses on what is right and so multiplies it. Words spoken in gratitude are seeds sown in fertile soil. Each thank you plants an invisible tree. Each appreciative sentence becomes a branch on that tree, and soon, the tree bears fruit. Opportunities, resources, support, unexpected blessings. But the fruit does not come from need or fear. It grows from the energy of appreciation. The universe expands where it is celebrated. Whatever is appreciated increases. Whatever is spoken about with joy multiplies. That is the secret of abundance. It is not earned by worry, struggle, or striving. It is welcomed through gratitude, spoken again and again, even before the evidence appears. When someone receives even a small gift, a dollar, a kind word, a compliment, and says, "Thank you, more of this, please," they are declaring to the universe that they are open. They are saying, "I recognize the flow, and I am ready for more." They do not dismiss the gift as insignificant. They do not brush it off as coincidence. They see it as a sign of alignment, a symbol of greater good unfolding. Their words of gratitude become the invitation for continued blessings. Their voice carries the tone of abundance, and that tone echoes through the ethers, returning to them tenfold. Gratitude is the language of receivers. It is how you say to the universe, I accept. And you must accept in consciousness before you ever hold anything in your hands. The person who cannot be grateful with little will never hold much, because their vibration cannot sustain it. Gratitude expands capacity. It stretches the soul. It prepares the individual to receive more by celebrating what is already present. And the celebration begins with speech, with sincere daily words of appreciation, spoken aloud or in quiet communion with the divine. It is not the quantity of gratitude that matters, but the quality. One sentence of true thanks can shift more than 100 forced affirmations. The power is in the feeling behind the word. When a person says, "Thank you, universe, for my perfect clients," even before they appear, they are not lying, they are aligning. They are not pretending, they are preparing. Their words create space. Their gratitude sends out a frequency that those clients will recognize and respond to. Even the challenges can be blessed. The one who truly understands spiritual law thanks life for the lessons, for the growth, for the contrast that clarifies desire. They say, "Thank you for the wisdom this moment is offering." And in doing so, they shift the energy. They do not resist the challenge. They transform it through gratitude. Their words do not complain. They command new outcomes by blessing the present moment. Gratitude removes resistance. Where there is appreciation, there is no room for fear. Where there is thankfulness, lack cannot survive. The person who fills their speech with gratitude is not anxious, because they are not waiting for good. They are already in communion with it. Their words reflect a settled faith. They say, "Thank you for the supply that is now manifesting," and they mean it. That sincerity opens doors. That trust speeds up manifestations. The universe cannot delay what is already being thanked for in advance. Gratitude is also an amplifier. Whatever you speak about with appreciation becomes louder in your life. The more you thank your body for its strength, the more strength it gives you. The more you thank your money for circulating, the more it finds ways to grow. The more you speak thanks over your home, your work, your relationships, the more harmony enters those areas. Your words are like water to a garden. Gratitude waters what you want to grow. It is the nourishment that abundance responds to. Without it, even the best intentions wither. To live in gratitude is to live in a continual flow of giving and receiving. You recognize the gift in each moment, and so each moment becomes richer. Your speech becomes sacred. Your words become instruments of increase. You no longer speak casually. You speak creatively. You choose to thank, not to grumble. You choose to bless, not to criticize. And in that choice, you claim your power as a conscious creator. Gratitude is also protection. It shields you from negativity. When your mouth is full of thanks, there is no room for doubt. When you are speaking blessings, fear has no foothold. Your words become your defense against lack. They become your weapon against worry. The grateful person is not shaken by outer appearances, because they are anchored by inner appreciation. They do not need the world to prove anything to them. They speak their world into being through the vibration of thanks. Even in the in-between, the waiting, the not yet, gratitude keeps the current flowing. It says, "I am thankful for what is coming." And that forward-facing thanks creates momentum. The one who waits in gratitude does not wait in tension. They wait in celebration. Their words are already full of the arrival. Their speech carries the frequency of fulfillment. That is why abundance rushes to them. It feels welcomed. To walk through the day blessing what you touch, what you see, what you experience. That is how you train your mind for wealth. That is how you rewire your nervous system to expect good. It starts with your mouth. It starts with your declarations. Not forced, not fake, but deeply felt and spoken often. Thank you becomes your mantra. Thank you becomes your code. Thank you becomes your magnet. The invisible precedes the visible. This is the foundation upon which all true manifestation rests. Before anything appears in the physical world, it is already formed in the unseen realm. The house exists before it is built. The music exists before it is played. The tree exists in the seed. The visible world is the final stage, not the beginning. What you can touch, see, and measure is only the last echo of a much deeper creative process. To understand wealth, or anything else of substance, you must first understand its origin. It begins in the invisible. Thoughts are invisible. Belief is invisible. Faith is invisible. Imagination is invisible. But from these elements, all form is created. Everything you hold in your hands today began as something unseen. It began as an idea, a word, a vibration, a picture in the mind. The world teaches to react to what is visible, to take cues from what is already formed. But the creative individual looks beyond appearances. They know that what is seen is temporary and subject to change. They do not panic when circumstances look scarce. They do not bow to facts that contradict their desire. They stay aligned with the invisible truth, knowing that the outer must adjust to the inner. Every manifestation begins with consciousness. You cannot experience on the outside what you have not accepted on the inside. The invisible is not vague. It is precise, organized, obedient to law. When you think a thought repeatedly, feel it emotionally, speak it with conviction, and see it in your imagination, you are creating an invisible mold. This mold shapes the energy around you. That energy gathers substance, opportunity, people, resources, and eventually reveals itself in visible form. But the form is just the conclusion. The creation happened long before. To wait for evidence before believing is to misunderstand the process. You do not wait for the fruit to believe in the tree. You do not wait for the harvest to plant the seed. The inner world is cause. The outer world is effect. This is why spiritual teachings emphasize faith. Faith is not blind trust, but alignment with the truth that the invisible is more real than the visible. The invisible is infinite, unlimited, unchanging. The visible is finite, temporary, and reactive. When you live from the invisible, you are living from power. When you live from the visible, you are living in reaction. Wealth, then, must first be seen within. It must be accepted in the imagination, spoken in the word, felt in the body, known in the heart. You cannot be rich in outer form and poor in consciousness. If your mind is filled with scarcity, if your words repeat lack, if your feelings echo fear, then your invisible pattern will block the flow of wealth, no matter how hard you work. But if your invisible atmosphere is filled with abundance, if you see yourself as blessed, supported, guided, and provided for, then the visible world has no choice but to mirror that belief. This is not mysticism, it is law. It is how everything comes into being. A sculptor sees the statue in the stone before one piece is chipped away. A builder sees the structure on the blueprint before one nail is hammered. You must become a sculptor of your own experience. You must become the builder of your own world. And the materials are not bricks and mortar. They are thoughts and words and feelings and images. These things are invisible, but they are not weak. They are powerful beyond measure. They are the substance of creation. To dwell only on what is visible is to live as a victim of conditions. But to focus on the invisible is to live as a creator of conditions. This shift is not always easy because the world constantly bombards you with appearances. The bank balance, the headlines, the opinions of others. But none of these hold true creative power. They are results, not sources. If you want to change them, you must turn inward. You must become still. Close your eyes and begin to form the invisible with clarity. You must see yourself surrounded by wealth, feel yourself supported by divine supply. Hear the voice of abundance speaking through you. And you must speak it aloud, not to convince the world, but to instruct the invisible. The invisible responds to your word. It responds to your focus. It does not respond to confusion or contradiction. If your thoughts say yes and your feelings say no, your manifestation is delayed. But when your thoughts, feelings, and words agree, the invisible becomes a magnetic field. It begins to attract the visible in perfect alignment. This is why inner work is not optional. It is essential. The outer reflects the inner. Always, many people try to change their lives by changing circumstances. They change jobs, partners, cities, strategies. But if the inner pattern stays the same, the outer result will eventually revert to match it. True change comes from transforming the invisible. When the pattern of poverty is removed from consciousness, wealth flows. When the pattern of fear is replaced with trust, opportunities emerge. When the self-image shifts from lack to abundance, the entire experience transforms. You must begin to respect the invisible as real. Do not dismiss your thoughts as harmless. They are the blueprint. Do not ignore your emotions. They are the energy. Do not underestimate your words. They are the command. Each of these is a tool to shape the formless. The invisible does not need physical proof, it becomes the proof. It does not rely on time, it creates time. It does not ask permission, it moves according to your permission. To build in the invisible is to work at the highest level. You are no longer chasing results. You are creating them. You are not reacting to life. You are shaping it. This work may not be visible to others. They may not understand how you can be confident before the money arrives, how you can give thanks before the thing is delivered. But you know the truth. You know that by the time they see it, you've already lived it 1,000 times within. This invisible work requires discipline. You must be consistent in your vision. You must return to it daily. You must protect it from fear, doubt, and external noise. You must treat your inner world as sacred space, not as fantasy, but as factory, not as escape, but as the epicenter of creation. Everything you want, peace, love, success, wealth, is first given shape in the invisible. The more clearly you see it there, the faster it appears here. You must not wait for confirmation to speak truth. You must not wait for validation to feel wealthy. You must not wait for approval to act in alignment. The invisible responds not to waiting, but to embodiment. You must walk as if. You must speak as if. You must move as if the world has already caught up with your vision. And in doing so, you call the visible forward. You are not guessing. You are not hoping. You are expressing divine law in action. Your inner vision is not imagination alone. It is prophecy. It is a preview of what is becoming real. When you treat it as sacred, when you nourish it, when you protect it, it grows. When you revisit it daily, when you speak it with joy, when you trust it more than the news, it expands. You become a match to what you see, and the outer world, like a mirror, reflects what is held most clearly in your invisible hand.